Tune into Raising Wisdom, where we embark on a journey of enlightenment and introspection. Get ready to elevate your understanding, embrace life's challenges, and unlock the true potential of your being. Welcome to Raising Wisdom, where wisdom is free, with Nico and Shawnee Poos, Wednesdays at 8. Luxuriate in plant-based skin and hair care for naturally glowing and lustrous results. Indulge in luxurious soaps, massage oils, body butters, and so much more. Get 15% off your first order. Also, explore our amazing literature that will help you navigate within your journey. Make sure you stay up to date with our weekly blog that has a plethora of information concerning health and wellness. Natural Sakari, be the natural you. Hi vibrations, welcome to Raising Wisdom, where wisdom is free. What's going on, girl?
Hi Nico, how are you today?
I am well, I am loving this. Here we embark on a journey of enlightenment and introspection. Join us as we delve into the depths of knowledge, exploring the art of cultivating wisdom and finding balance in our lives. Together, we'll navigate the complexities of life, seeking the elusive wisdom that enriches our minds and souls. Get ready to elevate your understanding, embrace life's challenges, and unlock the true potential of your being. So excited.
All good energy.
Yes. So, what are we talking about today, Shawnee?
Today we are going to talk about fighting fair in relationships.
This should be interesting.
How do you feel about that topic?
I feel like it's a topic that needs to be had.
Yeah. It's all over social media. That's all people want to talk about.
You know what? You're right. Yeah. Everybody wants to talk about relationships. So, I guess we're going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get real with it too.
Let's get into it. But I will start out with what today's moon is.
Yes.
Which is the waxing gibbous. And this is a representation of final steps. So this is the time to perfect and finish tasks that you may have already began. Because you're entering into a fresh new phase of life.
I love that.
Yeah.
We are always in alignment.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. Yeah. I hope everybody is aligned as well with what's going on. So thank you so much for that information.
Always.
And thank you guys so much for joining us again. I'm your girl, Nico.
And I'm your favorite podcast host, Shawnee from the Shawnee View.
So let's get into it. We're talking about fighting fair, which I think I'm just going to dive right on in. Couples don't stay together as long, I believe, as they could to exercise their full potential in what kind of partners that they can be, because they don't fight fair, and it can get nasty.
I think it can get nasty because fighting fair is kind of an oxymoron, because you're fighting, that's a negative,
Mm-hmm.
but fair, positive. It's an oxymoron. So how do you fight fair?
How y'all fight fair? Do y'all fight fair? I say so fighting fair would be, yes, we're having an argument. I'm not liking you right now. I'm not feeling you right now, but we've got some boundaries established to where we're not going to hit below the belt.
No, we are not.
But how realistic is that? Because that can be hard to do if you're not taming your ego. And
that is very true. Personally, I try to fight fair. I think I do for the most part. Definitely in the current relationship.
Okay.
I think I've learned. Yeah, so he's getting the good end of the stick. I've learned. But I do try to fight fair. I do not call names. Oh my God, don't call names, and I do not bring up past things that he may have told me in a safe space. Like,
yes,
that is definite grounds to build resentment.
absolutely. So how do you come back from that? That's okay, so for some of us, we are trying to reinvent ourselves, right? We're learning, we're trying to disregard the past and make some new mistakes. So that means that we have to get rid of the old ones, right?
Right.
Cool. So say you have not been fighting fair, you've been name calling, okay? You've been bringing up stuff from the past, stuff
Right.
that you were supposed to have given the other for.
Okay.
You talking about stuff they done told you back in the day when they was young, some stuff, Okay, so how do you redeem yourself if you were trying to begin to fight fair so that you can have your partner in a safe space in your relationship?
So I'm not a professional. Let me put this out there. Don't take my advice to heart. You can just maybe add it to whatever you know to do yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as coming back from that, you're reinforcing things. Like, first, you have to catch yourself, like, immediately. The earlier and the sooner, the better. Because if you let that time go by, you're letting that stuff fester. And, it's broiling and boiling. So, you don't want that. So the way to come back from that is to acknowledge that we had an issue. We had an altercation.
Okay.
But we're choosing to stay together. So a lot of things that were said unnecessarily, we gotta nip that in the bud right here. Why did you say that?
Why did you say that? Right.
Yeah.
So you gotta manage your emotions.
Yeah, you gotta manage your emotions. You give yourself and that other person that time to cool off before you dive right back into it.
That's very important. I think we have something in reference to that's in our notes, but just speaking upon experience. And of course, this sounds better, like as we're talking about it, opposed to when you're actually in the situation.
Yeah, better, easier
But
said
easier
than
said
done.
than done, because I really, goodness gracious, when I'm in it, it's like I want to go absolutely hard. But it's important to manage your emotions. So take that cool off period.
You want to take a period that's not too much though, because sometimes you can be like, I gotta cool off, and that's gonna be like a week or so. Don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to
put that much distance in between it.
Yes,
Because,
I
again,
agree with that too.
maybe somebody jumped to assumptions, and
that could lead to you going back to the streets. Like
it can, but because we're raising wisdom in here,
We
we're
are
not going back to the
raising
streets.
no, I mean sending them back to the streets.
Either way. So you do want to definitely get that stuff in check. Get your ego in check. 'Cause
Get
that's
your ego in
really,
check.
that's the main reason that there's an issue or an altercation to begin with.
Yeah.
The ego is not in check on either both ends or one person's end.
So strategies for keeping your emotions in check. I mean, so what? We would just suggest doing things that takes your mind out of the heat of the moment. So if that's taking a walk, if that's taking you a bubble bath, listening to some music, just taking a break, because breaks are healthy indeed. You gotta recognize when a break is needed to cool off. So setting certain guidelines, I guess that goes with the boundaries, because what are your boundaries?
Yeah, set them, maintain them, and reinforce them. You don't move your boundaries. When you move your boundaries, then that's giving too much leeway for that person to be like, oh, okay, well, you put up with this. I know I can go this far. So then next time they're gonna take it further.
They're gonna take it further.
Yeah.
What is it? Give them an inch and they take a mile.
Yeah. So you do not move your boundaries. Set them, make sure you let them know what they are up front and up hand, and as soon as they try to cross it, you could slap their hand like, hey, I told you this is, I don't like this. I don't like that. But if they go past it the next time, then that's on you. What they say, slap me once, shame on you, slap me twice, shame on me.
Right. So in fighting fear, gotta maintain those emotions, tame your ego. Take breaks.
Apologize and forgive.
Why you gotta jump to apologies and forgiveness already?
That should have been the first thing. So
you can't just jump into it.
After that break, when you choose to come back together and talk about everything, the first thing that needs to be said is an apology. So an effective communication to fight fair. We talking about fighting. You already forgiven me. We fighting fair. We talking about fighting fair. Okay. In the first steps of the communication process in fighting fair, you want to apologize and you're right. And forgive. Yeah, apologize because I want to stay mad though. So what if I want to stay mad? How can I fight fair and stay mad at the same time? If you want to stay mad, then you have to give it more time. Because if you're in that space of wanting to stay mad, then you're not ready to hear anything they say. Even if they apologize, you don't want to hear it. So if you want to stay mad, continue that break. That's the wise thing to do. Yeah, timing and environment as well. Like, oh wow, yeah. Well, that's what you was just talking about with the timing though. Like you don't want to use too much time. Right. When you're taking that break, the cool off period. You don't want to try to apologize and this person is at work. That's bad timing. Yeah, that's bad timing, and that is not the correct environment. You may not want to talk about that if you're at a family gathering. You don't want to be fighting at a family gathering as far as like environment goes. No. Fighting fair. Say you're in a place like that. You out at a barbecue with your friends and your family around, and y'all slick beefing. You know, so you can't, fighting fair is definitely not going off on each other in a public setting. No. Because that's not showing the unity that you need. And it's hard to come back from that. Because now you got all eyes looking at you, y'all relationship. Y'all going to be in the group text, but you're not included. They talking about you. Yeah, so I've been through that before. That was one of the How did you deal with it? So we weren't like loud and like pointing. It wasn't crazy, but it was one of those like quiet arguments. Like, but you did like only we could hear each other, but smiling. All right, we about to go. So we gotta go. Like I think that's fair. That's fair, and that's that's just respect to the relationship for sure. Definitely. So you gotta have respect for your significant other when you're talking about fighting fair. Right. Because if not, you're gonna go off. But that's not a good characteristic. No. To embody. So if you out there doing that, you need to. You need to stop it. Work on your communication strategies. Work on your communication strategies. All kind of stuff on Google. If you need help, seeking help when needed. If you don't want to go to a therapist because it's a stigma for you, Google it. How do I stop arguing in public? Look it up on YouTube. Guarantee you're gonna find something. I recommend that you seek help because if you out here acting up, then you got other issues other underlying issues that you need to take care of now. Seek help. It's okay. Therapy is it doesn't have to be a total stigma. I think more people are gravitating towards therapy than not. Nowadays, yeah. Yeah. But for the stragglers who have not who've not jumped onto that bandwagon yet, Google, how do I stop doing certain things? How do I get to certain places? How do I level up? Look that up. How do I level up? How do I level up? Okay.
So, communication, because communication rules the nation. Communication is key. Active listening.
Yes.
Yeah. And we talked about active listening. I forgot which
Probably the
episode
second
that
or
was.
third episode.
Mm-hmm.
Using I statements to
Using
avoid
I
blame.
statements.
Yes. I
Mm-hmm.
can't tell y'all all the ways that I
Oh,
cope with conflict within my relationship, but I use a lot of I statements, not to take all of his blame off of him, like whatever he's done.
right.
But at the same time, I'm not pointing fingers at him so that his guards are down. I don't want him to feel like I'm trying to fight him or that I'm against him. So I want to disarm you and let you know that I'm coming with peace.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel, I want, I think,
Right. That is a very insightful tool because it's important, I guess, for us women as we are raising wisdom, becoming wiser. We have to move differently and exhibit, I would like to say, grace as much as class and peace as we get older. So that was a cool advisory point.
Yeah, it's a good one, Paul. It's not always easy,
No.
but during that cool off period, that's when I can chill out and then go back with a more stable mind.
Because if you're not fighting fair, things can get ugly really quickly with not having those boundaries. You've got name calling, some people get violent,
Right.
which name calling is like a form of violence depending on how ratchet you can get.
Right.
I know I have went way below the belt, and that was not one of my prouder moments in life at all. So fighting fear is just important, not just for how you want to represent yourself, but if you are trying to cultivate wisdom, then fighting fear benefits everybody.
Right. Then you want to talk about the importance of healthy, what is it? Emphasizing the importance of healthy conflict resolution. If the goal is to be together, then we want to be healthy together.
Exactly, because we can't be, okay, so how long is this going to last? What is the end goal? Are we staying together? If so, are we standing on that? If so, these are the things that we need to do in order to fight fair, or we're going to lose respect for each other. And we was just talking because it is said that husbands love your wives and wives respect your husbands. And not to say that everybody's like trying to hop the broom and jump to get married and unmarried couples should have that respect in the relationship. Fighting fair is a sign of having that respect, for each other and for your relationship. You want to protect what you have, not be the feet that destroy what you have. You know what I mean? So
that is a true statement. You also want to look at how do you all fight? What's the conflict style of fighting? Based on whatever your background is or what your culture may have been.
Okay, because some people can.
Okay, so with a lot of misunderstandings in this person's background, it's okay to call names. Because people bounce back easily. You should be stronger than that. What is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Which is very untrue. It is untrue. They lied to us. What were they trying to tell us?
If life is in the power of the tongue, life and death is in the power of the tongue. Yeah, you can hurt somebody with your words.
Yeah.
But you have to, that goes back to setting the boundaries. No, that's not cool with me. I don't like name calling. I may bounce back and we can act like we're good, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not. At the end of the day, that hurt my feelings. And the pain, and the sadness of it all turns to anger and resentment. you know, and how do you come back from that, because you said it in the first place. But if you have these, if you're fighting fair, then those won't even have to worry about that type of nastiness to come about. We're trying to stay together, y'all. We're not trying to, there's too many people, you know, breaking apart. And I'm speaking for myself too. You know, I'm always speaking from an experienced place somewhere. But, you know, we want to stay together. If it's healthy. If it's not healthy, then, you know, you got to move around and do, you know, what's best for you. Protecting your light, protecting your spirit for sure.
Right. So if you've tried everything that you possibly can, and you really are doing you're using all of the tools in the tool bag to make sure that you're in a healthy relationship, and it's still not turning out healthy, then that's when it's time. It's time to go. No.
For real, it's time to part ways.
Yeah, so that's part of breaking negative cycles, unlearning unhealthy behaviors, and relearning, you know, in a more positive aspect.
Yeah.
Or from a more positive perspective.
Because, I mean, we do have to unlearn. Some people grow up seeing, you know, in negative environments, seeing things they probably shouldn't see, you know, see how the adults that were in their life communicated with each other in a very ugly and negative light, very distasteful, disruptive, you know, and that can get passed on. So you got to break the cycle, you know, if you are guilty of such things. If you want to grow and be a better person, because we all have things to grow from. So these conversations are for us to build and grow, because we are raising wisdom and we are shining light on things that we need to work on as individually and as a whole.
We're all in active work. Like, nobody is perfect. Like, we're always continuing and striving for better.
Yeah.
So we would like to ask you all, the listeners, what are some ways that you actually make sure that the punishment fits the crime and that it's not a mismatched conflict? The second question would be, how do you find common ground and making sure that it's the right time and place? Basically, how do you create a conducive environment that will be healthy enough for you to be honest and transparent with one another, and vulnerable as well? That's the key word, vulnerable.
Vulnerability is important. It is important. And that can be hard to do. I didn't notice that until a recent argument. Well, yeah, because I was so, you know, hurt. We weren't fighting fair, and stuff like that, and I didn't want to be vulnerable anymore because my feelings was hurt, and I don't trust you right now because we weren't fighting fair, you know. So in that time of not fighting fair, a lot of nasty things were said and ugly things were done. So being vulnerable didn't feel good. It didn't feel safe. However, if you want to turn that thing around and start fighting fear, then you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable once again and follow the format that you're setting with your partner.
If the partner is on the same track as you, yes, you continue to be vulnerable.
Oh, yeah. Of course, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you and your partner are, you know, on the same page and you guys are wanting to turn,
cohesion.
Right, there's cohesion. You want to turn everything around and do it right, or give yourselves another chance because of what you learned, and you want to start using what you've learned together. Right. You know,
so
then you would have to
forgiving.
Yeah, you have to really forgive.
Like, you cannot be vulnerable and not forgive.
Yeah.
Like, being vulnerable and not forgiving is setting yourself up for failure. So yes, forgive and then be vulnerable because you want to make sure that you're in the right mindset.
Yeah.
So that you're not continuing with long-term conflict.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to nip this in the bud so we can go forward. And our last question for you all is, how can you recognize when a break is needed? Like, what are some steps? Like, what actually transpires for you to know, oh, it's time for a break? Whether that break is cooling off for the rest of that day or maybe 2 days. I would not recommend going past 2 days. Nope. My significant other and I, we had to talk about this. No. If we're not in communication after 24 hours and nobody has said, oh, I'm in the hospital or
right.
Send me some bail money, like if that's not happening, we have a huge problem. Because what's going on? Why are you not speaking to me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm spoiled. You can't go without speaking to me, okay? We got problems. I'm already upset.
Right.
Everything, I've been in my head. You've given me too much time and space. And for some people, they may need like a longer amount of time and space. So with the question, you know, how do you guys do that? Because some people could use a few days.
That's true. So what are some affirmations that we can use during these few days?
Okay. So for affirmations, we're going to deal with our throat chakra again because we're talking about communication, okay? And it's important that we work on these things because, again, communication is key. So my first one, I think I'm going to do like 4 of them because we're talking about wholeness. We're still in wholeness right now, and we want to be whole. So let's do 4 of them that we're going to practice for 1 week straight or forevermore, however long you want to do this, or until the next episode. Bring some wisdom.
Add them to the collection.
Right. Hopefully they got their notebooks. You know, they got their own Raven Wisdom notebook. We might have to provide them with some of those, okay, for some giveaways. What y'all think about that? So the first affirmation that I have is, I always stay calm and collected when I speak. I always stay calm and collected when I speak. I've noticed when I am just chill, that's how I know I'm not, you know, the anger has subsided.
Okay.
The beast has calmed down inside of me. And I'm able to fight fair because I keep my tone a certain, you know.
Right. You have a certain demeanor.
Yeah, I have a calm demeanor. It's more inviting.
Okay.
You exhibit like a more vulnerable demeanor, and it lets your partner know that you are more welcoming and inviting as far as the conversation and communicating with each other. So the next one is, I am a patient and active listener. I am a patient and attentive listener. So we spoke about being active listeners, and you're trying to be cool and calm. So with that comes patience. Patience is a virtue. It will be your best friend for so many different reasons if you learn how to cultivate this skill. So the second one is, I am patient and attentive listener. Okay, and then the third one is, I am safe and express myself truthfully. Okay, I am safe and I express myself truthfully. And then the last one is, I trust my ability to speak for what is right than any other thing. I trust my ability to speak about what is right than any other thing. So I chose that one because when you're fighting fair, you can't just be doing no fabricating, elaborating, you know, exaggerating everything, being super dramatic, okay?
Assumptions, making assumptions.
Making assumptions and just really being too extra and doing the most. So you want to put yourself in a headspace where you know when you do open up your mouth and when you speak, it is truthful. That way you can get somewhere. Y'all, don't be petty. That's what that means. Don't be petty and be doing little sidebars and stuff like that, little side kicks to the throat. You know, that's not fighting fair. That's still doing too much. And if your goal is to actually move along and grow with your partner, and you want to, or whoever, this is just not, pertaining to relationships, even though that's what we're speaking mainly about, but just in your interactions with the people that's close to you, period. You may not agree with everything, and sometimes, unfortunately, you can get into some arguments or something of that nature with your girlfriends or, family members or something like that. But fighting fair still should be something that is important to your experience so that, you can vibrate higher.
It's inevitable for differences to happen and disagreements. So that's why we're talking about fighting fair, because it is something that happens with people. Like it's just a common thing. So we just want to be more mindful on how to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, we have come to the end of this episode.
I'm loving this though. So I hope you guys enjoy this experience. We will be in the studios more often for you guys. Once a month you will find us in the studio towards the end of the month. So if you're following Raising Wisdom like you're supposed to be, then you're gonna find us Wednesdays at 8 on IG Live.
So make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe. Also share our content so that we can be in the studio more often. With that being said, in a world where gossip rules, we are grateful that you have come back to shine your gems on your crown here on Raising Wisdom, where wisdom is free. Have a joyful and prolific